Hello and welcome to another week of Sambo iRacing. We're back at Autodromo Internazionale Enzo Dino Ferrari, otherwise known as Imola, this time in the Super Formula Light. Should be a fantastic week of racing. If you are new to my channel, we do a hot lap and then a breakdown lap, and then we're back in the cockpit a final time with the driving line on. Right, let's start this thing. Okay, let's start the lap. So up to top gear, keeping it as straight as possible. Looking for between the 100 and the 50 meter sign on the right hand side in 5th gear. 6th gear, going to drop it down to 4th. On the gas nice and early, exiting nice and wide here through 4. Looking for the 50 in 5th and then drop it down to 4th. Exit nice and wide. Looking for this 50 meter sign, down to 2nd gear, getting on the gas nice and early after a long trail off. Up through the gears, up to 5th. We're just going to do a lift here through Piratella, turn 8. Down to 4th, on the gas nice and early, exit nice and wide. Up through the gears again. Just going to do a lift and now braking hard, down to 3rd, cutting the corner, exiting wide. Always got to keep one of the tyres on the rumble strips here, on the curbs. And into the chicane. I drop it down to 2nd. My good friend and IndyCar driver, Louis Foster, says it's faster in 3rd, but I can't keep the pace up like he can. He was doing low 134s. But sadly, you've got me down to 2nd here. Up to 3rd, cutting the corner. On the gas, exiting wide. And yes, this is the first time I've driven the Super Formula Light. I think it's a great car. Looking forward to doing more of these. Over and across the line in a 134.960, loads of grip. And let's do the breakdown lap. Alright, here we are for the breakdown lap. So our first braking marker. So it's midway between the 100 and the 50 on the right hand side here. And what we're doing is we're not braking too hard, only up to about 55%. We're going to drop it down to 4th, and we're going to trail it off, and we're back on the gas nice and early. So we're cutting this corner without hitting the no-cut sort of little bumpy things there, and then we're fully back on the gas all the way through. Again, cutting corner on exit. And again, through here, cutting the corner nice and tight. Exiting wide. And then again here, the 50 meter marker is our braking marker. And we're just going to brake up to about 35%, drop it down to, we're leaving it in 5th gear, get on the gas nice and early, trying to straighten her up here. And then we're going to brake again up to about 25%, leaving it in 4th gear and getting on the gas nice and early. Exiting wide, as long as your right hand tyres are on the curbing or track, you're fine. Next braking marker is just after the 50, so the end of this road here on the right hand side. I'm going to brake hard up to about 60%, drop it down to 3rd, trailing it all the way off down to the apex, down to 2nd gear, and as you can see, I'm already half on the gas until I just straighten up that little bit to get onto full throttle, exit wide. We run up through the gears here, up into 5th. And this corner, Piratella turn 8, is just a lift. So we go past the 50 meter, and then it's sort of where the 25 meter would be. And we're going to turn in, and we're going to do a big lift, cutting the inside corner, dropping it to 4th on the apex. And then as we come off the apex, we're back up to 100% nice and early. You will exit nice and wide, but again, as long as your left-hand tyres are remaining on the curbing, you're fine. Go down through the gears. We turn in and we're going to remain on the gas until just before we get to the apex here. I'm still on about 28% gas, and then I'll straighten up, and as I straighten my wheel, that's when I brake up to about 45%, drop it down to 4th, trail it off down to the apex, dropping it down to 3rd, getting on 100% at the apex here. Keeping our right-hand tyres on the curbing. Now, as I say, Louis Foster says you can take this in third, and he really attacks it. He goes up over the no cut on the right-hand side, and then again on the left-hand side. I do it slightly more conservatively. So as I get to the 50, what I'm going to do is get on the brake up to about 70% there or thereabouts, trail it off down to second gear, and then I give it a little blip of gas, and then I come back off, get the car turned over to the left, and then I'm getting back on the gas. Because I'm in second, I'm having to feel for the grip rather than if you're in third, you can just go straight on to 100%. And by the time I'm at the exit, I'm straightening the car up on 100% gas. Making sure that we're well over to the right-hand side for this final corner. So once we get to the 50-meter marker, that's when I brake up to about 75%, drop it down to third, drop it down to second, trailing it off, getting back on the gas here, back up to 100%, exit nice and wide, but you've got to keep your left-hand tyres again on the curbing. I change up to third gear, and then for the final corner, I'm just doing a lift, and then I'm getting back on the gas nice and early, mounting that inside curb, and then again mounting this one here on the outside. So you either want to be fully committed like I have, where both sets of my wheels have come off the track and I'm using the curbing, or you want to be fully onto the track. So if you get a wheel either side of this curbing, what you're going to do is bottom out, and that's going to slow you down. And then we're just flat out for the line, and that is the breakdown lap. So just the driving line version to come. Coming up now. And now one final run through with the driving line on. Not that you can see it for the halo. I've been Sambo iRacing. Thanks for your support, and I'll see you guys in the week. Cheers.